I've got a serious question for you. How good are you at turning your goals into reality? How good are you at willing the thing that you say you want into something that is tangible? And I say this because I've had 300 to 400 plus hours of coaching many different types of individuals. And I can clearly see when someone is ready to be that person and when someone isn't. So today, I want to be focusing on how you can take the crucial steps to effectively implement things in order for you to take action and start seeing results for yourself. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And if you don't know who I am already, my name is Michael Tabirade. I'm an independent management consultant and founder of the consultancy, The Mastery Group. Now let's get into it. So the first bit is centered around laying the groundwork. Now, what do I mean by this? Now, essentially, laying the groundwork is making sure that you have all your ducks in a row. It's that simple. So you know me, I like a good framework. I've got something known as the vision framework. It stands for values. So V stands for values. That's really trying to understand yourself, understanding what is important to you, understanding your context, understanding all these different things in order for you to be clear about how you need to move forward. That's the first thing. Once you get to that stage, the second step is imagination. How do you cultivate the imagination in order to make sure that you have something that is drawing you closer to manifesting, bridging the gap, realizing the thing that you want to realize? Then you have S, which is sorting and systemizing. Sorting is just another way of saying putting things in order, organizing things, planning, and then putting it into a system that makes sense. That system can be as simple as a routine. Then you've got I, which is implementation, which is what we're really talking about. Implementation is ensuring that you do the thing you said you're going to do long after the feeling is gone. And so this is making sure you have things surrounding you in order to make that happen. Then you've got O, you observe what you've done, you observe the actions that you've taken, and you make improvements. And then N is to network. Network is to really look at your surroundings and how can you create leverage from what you're doing. So that is the vision element. And right bang in the center is implement. So let's keep it moving. So of course, again, that's part of the story when it comes to implementing stuff. But there's also making sure that you have the right sort of allocation. When I think of this stuff, when I think of allocation, I start thinking about my capacity as a program manager, as an independent consultant. And so typically, during the delivery phase of a program, there is typically some sort of scoping or initiation. And in that, there is a document that we usually develop. First off, we develop something known as a program brief or a project brief. And then it turns into something called a project initiation document or program initiation document, which informs the business case and all this kind of stuff there. But what am I saying? I'm essentially saying you have something that highlights specifically what it is you're intending to do. So your purpose, the objectives, the scope, the deliverables, the milestones, the risk, the issue, But in that, you have allocation. And I say this to say, it is difficult for many of us as individuals to implement something without support from other people. And I'm not just talking about you can do it. No, I'm talking about people who can actually deliver things. So you need to think to yourself, in your budget, in your motivational capacity, who can you bring on the journey with you in order for you to achieve the goals that you need to achieve? Do you need a virtual assistant? Okay. It doesn't have to be someone within your environment. Things are remote now. I have a remote virtual assistant, somebody who helps me, supports me, do what I need to do, etc., etc. And when they're not available for whatever reason, I know how hard it is to get stuff done. So maybe you need the virtual assistant that is cost effective but still effective. Maybe you need a coach or a mentor, someone who can help remove the mist and give you the clarity that you need in order for you, again, to not miss and to hit the target each time. Potentially you need help from people who can actually deliver on expertise. So maybe you need a marketing or advertising person. Maybe you need a health coach or a financial advisor. someone within the domain of making you great in that specific thing. It's their job to do that. So these are things to start thinking about. Who do you specifically need help from? What expertise do you need? And what risk are you putting at the forefront if you don't bring on these people? The final thing I want to add to this is to ensure that you're clear on your values. Okay, this is your compass. I keep on saying this again and again and again. It's a consistent theme. Your values are what you deem as important, and they help you make decisions which determine your destination in life and therefore your destiny. It is cheesy, and I'm lactose intolerant. The point being made is true. So when you understand, like, how do you unearth your values? Your values are unearthed based on questions like, what does good friendship look like to you? What does bad friendship look like to you? What are times in your life where you were really happy? Can you describe those? And what did you feel? What things do you actually don't like at all? What things will you never compromise? So these things, what you say determines, okay, what is important to you? Why is this important to the context of implementation? Because if you are grounded by this stuff and you do things through your values, with your values, you're going to make better decisions. You'll have choices in front of you. Okay, choices are just options. And decisions are essentially your ability to pick one of those choices, pick one of those options. But you want to make good decisions. And so good decisions are aligned to things that are important to you. That's how it all works. So essentially, that's what we're getting down to. So remember, laying a solid foundation is making sure you understand who can help you. You have a clear understanding of, again, how implementation links in with what you've done at the beginning with your vision setting and stuff and what you do near the end, but also your values as well. The next thing is to focus on executing on your strategies. It's important to ensure that you have the right setup, okay? What do I mean by this? In order for you to exercise the right level of execution, you need to be set up the right way. You need to be. Again, I spoke about before this whole thing of a project brief or a program brief. You have a higher purpose. So what is the higher vision? If you're not sure, go back to my previous video in this Understand, Reach, Expand series and you'll get a better understanding. But you need to have some sort of vision. What is the future state that you're trying to get to? You need to have some level of objectives, okay? So these are things broken down. These are segments that you're working towards, or even milestones, stages that you're trying to get to. So let's say, for example, you're trying to lose weight, okay? Maybe the vision is to feel good in your body and have the ability to play with your children effortlessly without running out of breath or anything like that. You want to have the ability to have youthful energy, okay, and not make regretful decisions. Okay, cool, that's the vision statement. What are the objectives? Maybe objective number 1 is to lose 10 kilograms. Maybe objective number 2 is to cut out sugar for at least 12 weeks. Maybe objective number 3 is to ensure that you are clear about what your body requires and needs. So of course there are tasks related to that, but we're not getting to the tasks. The milestones are the stages that you get to. So maybe milestone 1 is lose 5 kilograms in, let's say, 6 weeks. Okay. Milestone 2, lose 10 kilograms in 12 weeks. Milestone 3, do some blood work and do a food intolerance test to understand. Maybe that's milestone 1, but you get the point I'm making. That's how you break it down. Okay. That's how you break it down. And then you start thinking about the actions that you need to take. Now, really and truly, I don't like to go beyond 90 days when it comes to this stuff, because it's too much to think about. You can write down long-term goals if you want, but really you want to be tracking things every 90 days. So even with those milestones, focus on the 90-day ones. Don't worry about the rest. Once the 90 days are done, you review, you move again. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. And so the tools that you use for this stuff, again, you can use things like Asana, you can use things like Notion, which I use, and I have my life navigation system, which you can see on the right hand side on the screen for those who are watching this. You can use the Kanban board style process or an action log. I've got a free action log that I also lend out to people. It's on a Google Sheet. There are so many different ways you can track this stuff. It doesn't really matter as long as it's trackable and it's logical and it's organized in the right way. Again, you want to make sure you have the purpose, the objectives and milestones, then you have the tasks within those different areas. Track those within the quarter, within the 90 days, within the 12 weeks. That's what you want to focus on. Now, when you are starting on these tasks, it's important to make sure that you're taking small steps. You're not taking huge steps, because if you try to do everything all at once, you're going to fail miserably, my friend. Think about all the other times you tried to achieve a task. What has happened? So take each step as it comes. Like, think about, who do you have in your environment? How can you improve your ability to actually get stuff done? And I know that for me, there are certain things that I do in order to do that. For example, maybe it's listening to music. Maybe it's talking to a friend. Maybe it's making sure that my wife holds me to account. Maybe it's lending it out to my virtual assistant to get stuff done. Maybe I've set up some sort of script on some automation software like make.com or Naten or Zapier or whatever it may be to get it done. Maybe I have some reminders on my phone that pop up each time via Notion or Google Calendar. You need to find ways. You need to find ways. Maybe you understand that actually you're a night person. How do you understand that conclusively? Well, observation, or you can do a test. You can do a DNA test that tells you this stuff. Use whatever is in your arsenal to understand the best way to move forward. This is what you need to do. So implementation is key. The trick is, start small, be consistent, and have things in your environment that constantly remind you to take action, even if you don't feel like it. You have to remove yourself from this, I need to get it done. You start getting tense and everything else. That tension is what is causing the resistance. I'm telling you. I've felt that tension many times before. You have to make sure that you're clear about what you want. You desire it, but you don't chase it. And so the way you don't chase it is you do things each day. You set a routine of things you do each day to make sure you get stuff done. Success lives in a routine. I say this again and again and again. Success lives in the routine. So let's keep it moving. We've done all of that stuff. We've spoken about all the different things you need to do. And I think the last thing I really want to edify is make sure you review, reflect, and adapt. And again, I'll say this again and again and again. If you are interested in improving your ability to do this, you should definitely get my life navigation system. Okay, it's a Notion tool. It's not no complicated thing. It's easy for you to digest and understand. And you can use it as a journaling app. You can use it as a thing to capture all of your notes. You can use it as a thing to structure all of this stuff. I've done it in a neat and logical way, okay, that is user friendly. So if you're interested, again, make sure to check it out below. Now, an important question I want to ask you guys is, if you could achieve one major goal in your professional life this year, what would it be? Let us know below, because we need to encourage each other. Maybe you will find an accountability buddy by doing this thing. So put down your goals below. The other thing I wanted to say is, if you are a business leader, okay, maybe this is in corporate or you run your own business, and you are needing help trying to develop the consultant mindset, you are needing help to understand how to clarify where you are and where you need to be, then complete the form below. Let's have a conversation. And if I can help you, then I would be very happy to, if we are a good fit. So make sure to comment below. So the next step I really want to be talking about is overcoming implementation challenges. Okay, so how do we do this? Now, really and truly, we are going to face so many different challenges in our life. We're going to, whether it is managing or dealing with kids or elderly parents or siblings or family members or friends or colleagues, whether you are the go-to person at work at X, Y, and Z, whether there has been a technology failure or some issues with maintenance in your house. There are so many things that could happen. So many things. But you need to think to yourself, life is going to happen every single day. So what can I do to ensure that I'm on point? It's that simple. And so when thinking about dealing with resistance to change, you have to understand that life naturally changes. It just does. It changes all the time. And so you need to think to yourself, based on my locus of control, and you can look this up, what is in my control? What can I influence? But what do I just have to let go? I just have to let it go. When you understand this, you are more empowered. You're not moving from a state of reactivity. You're moving into a state of proactivity. And so you have to have the right level of support and challenge in your life to funnel you forward. Too much challenge debilitates you, and too much support makes you soft. And so this is why, and studies have shown this, you can check this out. If you have a deeper reason why, if you have a reason for being, if you have something you're working towards, a sense of meaning, people that you want to do well for, that rely on you, you are more likely going to overcome these resistance to change. Okay. The other thing is centered around managing limited resources. It's difficult. At least in the UK, things are getting more expensive. We've had a change in government. The last government did what they needed to do. The world's on fire. Everything's just mad right now. Everything. And so you have to think to yourself, how can I manage my resources effectively? Don't just buy the latest tool just because it's the latest tool. Is there a way you could save money on it, but also get the result that you need? What are you willing to do to learn in order for you to overcome certain barriers? So this is where you need to start thinking efficiently. And the way you think efficiently is in frameworks. So frameworks you could utilize are things like the Eisenhower matrix, which you can see here below. So I know it says do here, but really this is highlighting if there are things that are urgent, okay? Things that are urgent, they need to get done ASAP. Don't waste time. So these are things that have a big impact and need to be done quickly. If there are things that are important, okay, so they have a big impact, but they don't need to be done now, schedule that stuff. Schedule that bad boy, okay? Because they need to be done at some point. And you schedule that thing within the next month or so, okay? If there are things that need to be done, but, they need to be done kind of like now, but they're not going to have a big impact, but they still need to be done. Maybe it's something that's like a reoccurring task or something. Then you have to delegate that or automate it. And the way you automate things these days is you link it to AI or you use some sort of automation software. And if there are things that are wasting your time, minimize that stuff. And I'm not saying that you should stop, but definitely minimize those things. And so what I want to say to you is, if you do get setbacks, okay, if you do get setbacks and you're in a situation where you just feel really demotivated and all this kind of stuff there, you have to find a way to pick yourself up. You have to listen to some music, listen to some motivational pieces, talk to someone who can get you out of the mud, revisit and look at your goals, look at your vision board. This is why I said before, if you have a vision board, it may invigorate you to take action. So you have to remember these things. You have to, because otherwise you are nothing without it. And so, bonus tip, I like to lean into bonuses, and usually these bonuses are centered around some sort of mindset understanding. Cultivate resilience in your journey. Cultivate resilience in your journey. I'm going to say this again and again and again. Why is this important? Resilience helps you keep on moving forward. Now, you don't want to get burnt out. Please listen to what I'm saying. You need to be resilient, which really means you have to have a certain level of strength and adaptability during hard times. You need to know how to maneuver in order for you to, at the bare minimum, survive, but likelihood to thrive. Well, that's the aim, at least, anyway. And so you build resilience by doing some of the following things: understanding your psychology. This is reflecting, this is journaling, this is speaking to a coach or mentor or therapist. Understanding human psychology. This is understanding for yourself so you can see how you maneuver in different situations. Looking after your body better, so going to the gym, that builds resilience because there are things you say you can't do, but then over time you can do it. And when you can see you've done it, that's when you start to develop strength. These are all things that you could do. Okay, obviously activities that are out of this world that may open your mind. So you have to remind yourself, failure is not the end. It can never be the end. It ends when you leave this earth, really and truly. It ends when you stop committing to learning and growth. But you're not that sort of person. And so that's not going to happen. And so if we summarize all of this, we understand that number one, it's important to build robust foundations, understanding that vision framework, values, imagination, sorting and system, implementation, observation, and networks, and really embedding that into your practice. You define what success looks like for you, and you have the right people, the right values, the right systems surrounding this stuff in order for you to take actionable steps towards your goal. You have things like music, people, environments that support your action, and you review this week on week. You tackle challenges head on, and you build the right level of prioritization in order for you to take action whilst building a flexible and resilient mindset. And so, if you are interested in having a competitive edge as a business leader in today's current climate, again, don't forget to complete the form below. And as always, if you want to see more videos centered around life management, portfolio careers, and everything centered around the things that I love, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell. And as always, my friends, understand, reach, and expand. Peace.